Dear beloved child, I know there are moments in your life when everything feels heavy, when your heart is full of questions, but the answers seem far away. You smile in front of the world, but inside there is a silence that no one understands. There are nights when you lie awake, and your thoughts keep asking you the same question again and again. Why is this happening to me? Am I being forgotten? Does anyone truly see what I'm going through? And in those quiet moments, when no one is watching, you feel something deeper, a distance between you and hope. But my beloved child, listen carefully. You are not forgotten. I have not turned away from you, not even for a single moment, even when you thought I was silent. I was still there, even when you felt alone. I was closer than you realize. The Lord is near to the broken-hearted. And I have always been near to you in your most silent pain. I see the tears you never show. I hear the prayers you whisper without words. And I know the weight you carry in your heart when no one else understands. You think you are walking through a wilderness, but I'm telling you the truth. You are not lost. You are being guided. There are seasons when everything feels like delay, when nothing is moving, nothing is changing. Nothing is answering, but silence is not absence, it is preparation. Because I am not only working in what you can see, I am working in what you cannot see yet, my beloved child. What feels like confusion today is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of something you do not yet understand, my beloved child. There are things you are trying to understand right now, but your mind is only seeing fragments, not the full picture. You are standing too close to the painting of your life. That is why everything looks unclear, incomplete, even broken. But I see the entire masterpiece. From beginning to end, and what you are calling confusion, I'm calling formation, what you are calling delay. I'm calling protection, what you are calling silence. I'm calling preparation. There are moments in your life when I close doors, not because I am rejecting you, but because I am redirecting you. You feel disappointment, but I see deliverance. You feel loss, but I see alignment. You feel delay, but I see timing, and I need you to understand something very deeply. Not everything that leaves your life is a loss. Sometimes it is a mercy you cannot yet recognize. The hidden work behind silence. There is a reason why you cannot feel everything at once, because if I showed you the full process of what I'm doing in your life, your human heart would not be able to carry it. So I work in silence, like a seed buried beneath the soil. No one sees it breaking open, no one hears its growth, but inside the darkness, life is forming, and that is exactly what is happening in you. You think nothing is moving, but I am telling you, something is being built within you that is stronger than what you lost, the season you don't understand. There are seasons in life when you will feel misunderstood. People will misread your intentions. People will walk away without explanation. People will judge what they never tried to understand, and in those moments, you will ask me, why is this happening to me? But my beloved child, not every silence is punishment. Silence is protection from conversations. You are not ready. For not every ending is rejection. Some endings are rescue, because I can see connections you cannot see yet. Can see paths you are not aware of yet. I can see dangers you are not even close to yet. So I close what must be closed, to save what must be saved. When the heart feels empty, there will be days when your heart feels empty, not because you are weak, but because you are in transition. You will feel like something is missing, but you will not know what. And in those moments, your emotions will try to convince you that you are alone. But I am telling you the truth. Emptiness is not abandonment. It is space being created for something new you cannot receive. New life while still holding on to what is expired. So I gently remove what no longer belongs to your next season, even if it hurts, even if you don't understand it yet. The story you are living without knowing. Do you remember Joseph? His brothers betrayed him. They threw him into a pit. They thought they were ending his story, but they were actually starting his elevation. He was sold, he was forgotten, he was falsely accused, and in every stage, it looked like he was losing. But behind every loss, I was positioning him because the pit was not punishment, it was direction. The prison was not rejection, it was preparation. And the delay was not denial, it was alignment with destiny. And one day, he stood in a place he never imagined and understood something deeply, what they meant for evil. I turned for good, my beloved child. That same truth is still alive today. When you feel like nothing makes sense, there will be nights when your mind will not rest. You will replay conversations. You will replay decisions. You will question your path and you will wonder, did I do something wrong? But I need you to understand something very clearly. Not every confusion is your fault. Not every delay is your failure. Not every silence is rejection. Some things are unfolding in a timeline you cannot see yet, because I do not operate in panic. I operate in purpose. What I am protecting you from, there are things you asked for that I did not give you, not because I cannot, but because I see what you cannot. Some desires look like blessings from a distance, but they carry weight you are not ready to carry yet. My beloved child, I need you to listen to me more deeply now. Because what I am about to reveal to your heart is not just comfort. It is understanding. There are moments in your life when you look around and feel like everything is falling apart. But I am telling you something very important. Nothing in your life is random, not one tear, not one delay, not one closed door, not one painful goodbye. Everything is being woven together in a way your human mind cannot yet comprehend. You think your life is moving in broken pieces, but I see a connected story, a story that is still being written, and every chapter that confused you was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to direct you. There are battles you went through that you thought were punishments, but they were actually protections. There were people who left you that you thought were losses, but they were actually removals. There were dreams that did not come true when you wanted them, but they were not denied. They were delayed because you were not ready for what was behind them. I know this is difficult for your heart to accept, because pain makes everything feel personal, but I'm not speaking to your pain. I'm speaking to your destiny. There is a difference between what hurts you and what is shaping you, and I need you to understand this deeply. I do not allow anything into your life without purpose. Even what broke you is building something inside you that you cannot yet see. There are nights when you feel like you are at your weakest point, but I am closest to you in those very moments, because strength is not always loud. Sometimes strength is silence that refuses to give up. Sometimes strength is tears that still continue to pray. Sometimes strength is a heart that still trusts me even when it does not understand me. You think faith is when everything makes sense, but true faith is when nothing makes sense, and you still do not let go. That is the place where your soul is being transformed. And I want to take you deeper into something now, because many times you measure my presence by how you feel. If you feel peace, you think I am close. If you feel silence, you think I am far. But I am not controlled by your emotions. I am constant, even when you do not feel me. I am there, even when you do not understand me. I am working, even when you cannot see me. I am holding everything together. There are things I have protected you from that you will only understand later, when your heart becomes strong enough to see it without fear. Because if I showed you every danger I removed from your path, you would realize that many of your disappointments were actually rescues. You would understand that what you call delay was actually timing, and what you call rejection was actually redirection. There is a reason I sometimes keep you in waiting seasons, because waiting is not empty time. It is shaping time. It is the place where your impatience dies and your trust begins to grow. I am not trying to break you. I'm trying to remove everything inside you that cannot survive your future, because where I am taking you, your old version of thinking cannot follow. Your fear cannot follow. Your doubt cannot follow. Your impatience cannot follow. So I refine you, not with punishment, But with preparation, there will be moments when you will look back and realize, that thing I cried for, I'm glad I did not get it. That door that closed saved my entire direction. That person leaving me protected my heart from something I could not see. And in that moment, you will understand something very deeply. I was never absent. I was always guiding, even when it looked like chaos. I was order behind it, even when it looked like silence. I was speaking through it, even when it looked like delay. I was aligning everything for your arrival into the right season, my beloved child. Do not rush this process, because what I am building in you is not temporary relief. It is permanent strength, a strength that does not collapse when life becomes difficult, a peace that does not disappear when circumstances change, a faith that does not break when prayers take time, and slowly, without you even realizing it, you are becoming someone new, not the version that reacts, but the version that trusts, not the version that panics, but the version that rests, not the version that gives up, but the version that continues walking even in uncertainty. And that transformation is greater than anything you are asking me for, because I am not only changing your situation, I'm changing you, and when you are changed from within, no situation will be able to destroy you again in the same way. So even now, in your waiting, in your confusion, in your unanswered questions, remember this: you are not forgotten, you are being formed, and what I am preparing for you is not just an outcome, it is a new identity. My beloved child, now I want you to go even deeper with me, because there are truths I have been slowly revealing to your heart. But now I want you to see them more clearly. There are moments in your life when you thought everything was falling apart, but in reality, I was holding everything together in a way you could not perceive. You were never walking alone. Even in the moments you felt completely abandoned, I was still guiding your steps, even when you thought nothing was happening. I was working in ways beyond your understanding, and even when you thought you were stuck, you were actually being positioned. There are things I allowed to touch your life, not because I wanted to hurt you, but because I wanted to reveal something inside you that comfort could never reveal, because comfort never builds strength, only process does, only pressure does, only unseen shaping does. And I know there were times when you cried out from your heart and said, "Why is this happening to me?" But I need you to understand something very deeply now. Your current pain is not the final message of your life. It is only a chapter, not the conclusion, not the ending, just a forming stage. Because I am not writing your story based on how you feel in one moment. I am writing it based on what you are becoming, and what you are becoming is far greater than what you currently understand. There were situations where you thought you lost something valuable, but I was removing something that would have held you back later. There were relationships you fought to keep, but I was protecting you from something your eyes could not see. There were doors you desperately wanted open, but I closed them not to reject you, but to redirect you, because I see paths ahead of you that you cannot see yet. And if I allow you to walk into every desire immediately, you would end up in places that would not match your destiny. So I delay, not to deny you, but to develop you. And in that development process, something powerful is happening within you. You are becoming more aware, more patient, more stable, more anchored in something deeper than emotions, because emotions change quickly. But what I am building in you is not based on emotions. It is based on truth. There will come a time when you will look back at this very season and realize something that will shake your understanding. You will realize that what you called pain was actually protection. What you called loss was actually alignment. What you called silence was actually guidance. And what you called delay was actually perfect timing. And in that realization, your heart will change, because when you understand me more deeply, you stop questioning the process, you start trusting it, and I am bringing you into a place where your trust in me will no longer depend on what is happening around you, but on who I am within you. There will be days ahead where storms will still exist in your life, but they will no longer control your inner world, because I'm teaching you a kind of peace that does not depend on circumstances. Peace that remains even when everything is uncertain, a peace that stands even when answers are delayed, a peace that continues walking even when the path is not fully visible, and this peace is not something the world can give you. It is something I am growing inside you, slowly, quietly, deeply. There are battles you are still going to face, but you will not face them the same way anymore, because the version of you that used to panic is being replaced with a version that prays. The version of you that used to break easily is being strengthened into endurance. The version of you that used to run from uncertainty is learning how to stand in it. And this transformation is not loud. It does not happen overnight. It happens quietly, in your thoughts, in your decisions, in your responses, in your reactions. You may not even notice it fully yet. But I do, and I am telling you, you are not the same person you were before. Even your pain has started shaping you. Instead of destroying you, even your tears are building something deeper. Inside your soul, even your waiting is producing something powerful within you. And this is why I am not removing everything you struggle with immediately. Because some things are not meant to be removed quickly. They are meant to refine you slowly, like gold in fire, like clay in the hands of the potter, like a tree growing roots in unseen soil. And I know you sometimes wish everything would just become easy. But ease does not create depth, and I'm not just interested in your comfort. I'm interested in your depth, because shallow strength breaks easily, but deep strength stands through anything. So even now, in this moment, I want you to understand something very important. You are not being abandoned. You are being shaped. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. You are not being forgotten. You are being born for something you have not yet seen. And one day, when you finally step into what I have prepared for you, you will understand why I allowed you to walk through what you are walking through right now. And in that moment, you will not have bitterness. You will have gratitude, because you will see that nothing was wasted. Not a single tear, not a single delay, not a single closed door. Everything had purpose, everything had meaning, everything was part of the path that brought you here. My beloved child, now I want you to come with me to the place where understanding becomes clear, where confusion finally begins to fade, where every question you carried for so long starts to find its answer. But not in the way you expected, in a deeper way, in a truer way. In a way your heart was always being prepared for, because there comes a moment in every journey where I do not just comfort you anymore. I reveal to you, and when revelation comes, everything changes. The way you see your pain changes. The way you see your past changes. The way you see your waiting changes. And even the way you see yourself changes. Because what I am about to show you is not just what happened to you. It is why it happened there. Were days you thought I was silent, but I was not. Silent I was building. There were nights you thought I had forgotten you, but I had not forgotten. I was preparing there. Were moments when you thought nothing made sense, but I was arranging every piece in a way that only makes sense at the right time. And now you are closer than you realized to seeing that truth, because nothing you went through was disconnected. Every heartbreak was connected to a protection you did not see. Every delay was connected to a direction you did not understand. Every ending was connected to a beginning you were not ready for yet, and every closed door was part of a greater opening. You see your life as fragments, but I see it as formation. You see pauses, but I see preparation. You see waiting, but I see alignment. And I want you to understand something very deeply now. I do not measure your life by what you lost. I measure your life by what you are becoming, and what you are becoming is stronger than what tried to break you. There were moments when you thought you would not survive emotionally, but you did. There were moments when you thought you would not recover, but you are still here. There were moments when your heart was so heavy that even breathing felt like effort. But somehow, You kept going, and that strength you showed in your weakest moments was not accidental. It was I who carried you when you thought you were walking alone. Because there are battles I never allow you to fight alone, even when you feel alone. You are surrounded, even when you feel abandoned. You are held, even when you feel unseen. You are fully seen by me, and now I want you to understand the deeper reason behind your journey. It was never just about what you were going through. It was about who you were becoming through it, because there is a version of you that could only be formed in pressure. There is a level of wisdom that only pain could unlock. There is a depth of peace that only confusion could teach you to value. And there is a strength in your spirit that only storms could reveal. Without the storm, you would not have known your stability. Without the delay, you would not have learned patience. Without the silence, you would not have learned trust. And without the loss, you would not have learned what truly matters. So even now, do not despise the path that shaped you, because what shaped you also saved you. There were people who left your life and you thought it was rejection, but it was protection. There were opportunities that slipped away and you thought it was failure, but it was redirection. There were moments when you felt completely lost, but you were actually being led, and I know you could not see it then. But one day you will look back and everything will make sense in a way that will bring peace to your heart instead of pain, because understanding will replace confusion, and gratitude will replace questioning, and you will say, "Now I see why it had to happen this way." My beloved child, do not underestimate what I have been building inside you, because what I am building is not fragile, it is not temporary. It is not dependent on perfect circumstances. It is something deeper. A stability that remains even when life shakes. A peace that remains even when answers delay. A faith that remains even when emotions fluctuate. And that is why I have allowed certain things to pass through your life. Because I am not building a life that only survives good seasons. I am building a soul that stands in every season, and now you are entering that stage, slowly, quietly, deeply, even if you cannot fully feel it yet. You are not the same person you used to be. Your reactions have changed, your patience has grown, your understanding has deepened, your sensitivity has softened into wisdom, and your pain has begun transforming into perspective. This is not random. This is formation. This is refinement. This is preparation. And I want you to hold on to this truth in your heart. Nothing you went through was wasted, not even the moments that broke you, because even what broke you is being used to rebuild you into something stronger, something deeper, something more aligned with who you were always meant to become. And when the time comes, and I open the next chapter of your life, you will not walk into it the same way you walked through the previous one. You will walk in with understanding, with peace, with stability, with a heart that knows how to trust even when it cannot see. And in that moment, you will realize that everything was leading here. Every tear, every delay, every silence, every question, every loss, every waiting season, it was all part of the path that shaped you into readiness. So now I want you to rest in this truth. You were never abandoned. You were being prepared. And what I have prepared for you is not just change, it is transformation. And when you finally step into it, you will understand everything without needing to ask anymore, because your heart will already know.